Greetings, programs. Neo Mega Man back again for part 21 of Let's Play Katawa Shoujo Shizune's Path. Once more, we're pushing on towards the end, and this time, folks, we've got, well, some student council business to take care of, so let's go ahead and dive right in. And remember, you have to take this job seriously. Too many people think you can just slack off and that it isn't important. That's a dangerous way of thinking. Definitely. You can't take it too seriously. If you're always thinking big, thinking positive, and if you aren't always thinking big, thinking positive, and if you show any signs of weakness, people will start to think you're incompetent, you know? And soon you won't be able to do anything because your power is going to be delegated off to others piece by piece, and you'll be left with nothing. That's what happened last time. So, remember, it may seem like an easy job, but a lot of carnage can happen in this room. And out of it. Dealing with the school staff, too. Even trying to get a budget report from a class rep can be a fight to the death sometimes. Yeah, it's kill or be killed. There are no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. Are you sure about this? Is this right? You don't seem excited enough. You have to make sure it's getting through properly. Once more, with feeling. Shizune twists her hands like a maestro for emphasis, visibly intimidating the two girls standing at attention in front of us. To think this all started because one of them asked if she wasn't taking her job too seriously. These two are cute. Do you understand? You understand? Pretend I'm shouting it. Okay, okay. Arg. The student council's so weird. Aoi. I want to say that her name means blue. Like the color blue. Yes, sir. Sir? Who are you guys talking to, anyway? It's not weird. You have to think of it as a job. If you want, think of it like they're paying you with the right to use this great office. You want another lecture? No. You could go now. Just like that, the hour-long student council orientation is over. Personally, I thought it was about 50 minutes too long, and also found it funny that it incorporated a tour of the school that we've all been going to for a while, but I guess it didn't hurt. I expect Shizune to fall back into her chair since she's been on edge all day, but she doesn't. She continues pacing the room restlessly. They still have a long way to go. Right now they're a joke. Eh? What? They think they could be the new student council? They're so unfocused! You have to really see you can really see the lack of experience. This was our best year yet. I don't think they have what it takes to be our follow-up act. And I know there are a lot more of them than those two girls. Where are they? They're like the heavily marketed but mediocre big-budget critically panned sequel to the acclaimed low-budget sleeper hit. Eventually, she does stop and sit down. Are you gonna miss it? Obviously. I'd be happier if I didn't have to leave too. I like being in the student council, even if it can be tiring too. And it's definitely tiring. Only because Shi-chan is always trying to do more than she has to. You're forgetting that if I did the bare minimum, we wouldn't do anything all year except hand out flyers, collect surveys, and plan the next student council election, so the next student council could sit around for another year or so doing nothing. Asking me to let that happen? Don't be ridiculous. In a student council like that, there wouldn't even be any power to play around with. I'm just happy that even though I clearly need to ride them harder, those two aren't bad. I'm not there yet, but the new student council should be in good hands. How can you tell? After the festival, they asked me if they could also organize a Halloween event, like a haunted house or something along those lines. They had a bunch of other ideas as well. Of course, my response was no. I had Misha tell them to do it themselves if they wanted it so badly. They were angry for some reason. Of course they'd be angry if you said that. And Misha delivering the message wouldn't help. I was angry too. All of a sudden they want so much. If they wanted a haunted house or a traditional style cafe or a trip to the beach or whatever cliche thing, why didn't they try to organize it before? It was like they were taking advantage of me. I worked hard to organize those festivals, and in return they come to me with, "That was nice, but can you do this now? How about this? It's what I really want." Shi-chan was wrong, though. Right. They wanted to join the student council so they could make it happen. I made them feel jealous and riled them up. I can be that kind of motivation, too. The desire to do something great spreads, even if it's to show me up. They decided to take me up on the challenge nonetheless. I'm impressed. Well, for now. I would have listened to see how it plays out a little longer in order to know for sure. She snaps her fingers suddenly, which sends Misha almost bolting out of her seat. Interesting. I guess it is impossible to get used to. That's right. We were going to have a party to celebrate the passing of the reins onto the new student council, weren't we? Why not have that now? Or at least plan it now and have it tomorrow. But they're not even in charge yet. In fact, that's the first thing you told them. You're not in charge yet. Seems premature. Misha, what do you think? I agree, it's too early. Plus, I don't think I could go anyway. Sorry. In fact, I was going to leave right now. Why not? No comment. Oh, come on, tell me. Well, okay. Why not to crack under pressure, Misha? I thought about it, and even if I didn't want to go, I would say yes. Usually. It's the kind of person I am, and I really should stop doing that. And this is a good place to start, I think. If it's a celebration to say goodbye, I don't want it. It'd be too sad. I want to do something else instead. After all, Hee-chan, you and She-chan will still be here tomorrow. It doesn't seem right. Besides, I have other school things I have to do today. I can't just drop them like that. We can postpone it. No early goodbyes. She looks very firm as she says this. Aren't you going to go now, though? Oh, that's right. Okay, besides now, no too early goodbyes, okay? I get it. Okay, later. With that, it's just Shizune and I left alone in the student council room. Sunset slowly changes into night as we sit in silence, both searching for something to say. I got a funny feeling here, folks. Yep. Would it really be that bad? Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, but Misha's right. Parties set a mood, and it would be a sad one. A sad party doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. Why would it be sad? Is this a trick question? I'm sure of it. Shizune's eyes pierce into mine, waiting for my answer with a detached, analytical stare that I haven't seen in a while, but it feels familiar anyway. I consider my answer carefully, but also what it means for her to ask me. It could be that Shizune finds it depressing as well, or it could be that she doesn't understand why anyone would find it depressing. Both are equally plausible. I had a thought that when you graduate, that's it. It's going to be the end of student council. I was wondering if you had the same idea. Don't be stupid. I look forward to it. I won't be a student anymore, so the expectations of me are going to be completely different. People's expectations of me and my expectations of everything else. Seems exciting. As for the student council, it should be in good enough hands. I don't have anything to be sad about. I don't think you're being honest. You looked upset about having to give the student council up not even a few weeks ago. And it wasn't about leaving it to a bunch of newbies either. It was just having to having to stop doing student council work at all. Unexpectedly, Shizune smiles. So you're not disagreeing. Then it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to have a party about it? I'm trying to get over it. Besides, goodbye celebrations are very important. People say the first step is the most crucial, but following it through and finishing cleanly are just as important, right? I guess that's true. Anyway, I don't consider it goodbye, but it's still an event. You have to go through the proper motions. Aren't you going to? Aren't I going to what? Kiss me, of course. Okay. Is that the proper motions? It'd be normal, wouldn't it? The natural thing to do. It's time to act decisively. If I don't, I'm sure my heart will explode. Oh boy. Thanks preemptively to TK8305 for the editing. I kiss her immediately, so quickly that I don't even have time to enjoy it. Even though she was prepared for it, Shizune blushes a deep red. I feel a familiar heat rising in my neck and cheeks. I move in for another kiss, but as I do so, she moves backward at the same time and impishly jumps onto the cabinet behind her. Alone in the total silence of the room, we just look at each other for a while. Smoocherinos. This time I kiss her more deeply. Her lips are light and dry and open a tiny bit. I'm only able to appreciate the sensation for a moment before Shizune starts kissing me back forcefully. Her bangs brush against my closed eyelids as I let myself sink deeper into the kiss. I can feel the shape of her body through her clothes, which only makes me hold Shizune tighter. It takes some effort for the both of us to draw back from each other. We're both blushing, both from the kiss and the thoughts of what's to come, and I'm far from the only one breathing a little heavier. As Shizune begins to take off my tie, I start undoing her blouse. It takes a while to figure it out. I never really thought about how our school's blouses work before. Shizune's blouse is a little tight on her, and her arms get stuck for a moment because of it. I find myself peeling it off of her, although with the way she's trying to wiggle out of it at the same time, it isn't easy. Besides, it's a little comical. Once Shizune's arms are free, she slides out of her shirt, her skirt falling around her knees with it. After she unhitches it and works it off her legs, the only thing covering her now are bra and panties. Her figure is curvaceous and taut, and the healthy color of her skin contrasts with the black of her underwear. It's a wonderful sight, especially against the background of the moonlight through the window. Yeah, just as a personal note, these idiots are doing it in front of a window. Isao, why? She looks at my chest and then works the buttons of my shirt one by one. The process is greatly slowed by my hands moving up and down her thighs. It's a little amusing to play with her like this. Eventually, finally, my shirt falls to the ground. Shizune surprises me by quickly pulling me in for a deep kiss without warning, but I quickly return the gesture. Why are you bolder today than on the roof? Or in your room? I try to think of a good answer, but it isn't easy. How would I be able to respond to that even if I could? There's no way to, unless I were to say that bureaucracy really puts me in the mood. Oh, Hisa, why? My shirt having been disposed of, Shizune moves on to my belt, and I decide to help her undo it instead of answering her question. I don't think it would do much good at this point anyway. It's not hard to get off and falls to the ground with a metallic clunk. I move in for another kiss and begin to slide my hand up her side, but she suddenly lurches forward, making me stumble backwards. The stiff edge of the table was the furthest thing from my mind until I feel it stabbing into my lower back. I hadn't even noticed it was there. It makes me grab Shizune a little tighter as we fall back onto the surface of the table. Whoop, there we go. I hold back a sigh as Shizune victoriously holds herself above me. She's won again. I'm distracted until Shizune's fall bras on me. Bra falls on me. Bleh. Her fall bra... God, I can't believe I just said that. Seeming like it dropped out of the sky. I end up laughing, especially at myself, despite how hard I try not to, and it's contagious enough that Shizune starts to as well. Freed from her bra, her breasts are larger than I'd thought. Even though they were noticeably large through her shirt already, she picks up her bra with her fingers and flicks it off as my hands move over her body. Straddling me with her knees, on the table, Shizune slips her underwear off, with my hands moving from her hips unconsciously to help her. I catch a glimpse of my watch. It's only been a few minutes, but it feels like so much longer. She eases herself downwards, closer and closer, until our bare chests are touching, her breasts feeling strange against the scar over my heart. Woof. Yeah, that's going to be a difficult one to edit. I'm sorry in advance, TK. When Shizune sits up, I feel myself slipping inside, slowly enveloped by her below, as her breasts lift away from my torso. An attack of two fronts, I think, dryly, considering the situation. I like her. I should just stop now and leave you stewing in your lust, she says as she starts grinding herself against me, causing me to blink at the sudden pleasure. Very funny, Shizune. I soon lose track of my thoughts. Shizune bites her lip to muffle her voice from coming out. An unwanted voice. This is the most I've ever heard of it, and she blushes once she realizes she let it slip out. To cover it up, Shizune drives herself against me harder, causing me to jolt against her, driving my erection deeper into her. I thrust my hips toward her at the sudden sensation of movement. Shizune fights against me, trying to pin me back down, when I manage to pull my arms out from under me. In that moment, her hips thrust back with even greater force in response. The sound of Shizune's soft, restrained moans, the sight of her bountiful breasts, moving up and down each time her hips buckle against mine, grow more arousing with time in the stillness of the student council room. Ugh. I almost can't take it anymore. The pleasurable sensations welling up between my legs, multiplied by the pressure of Shizune's weight on top of me, make it hard for me to think. My hips start bucking by themselves. Shizune's hands push mine down onto the table, Every motion of hers is a push of some kind. The table under us rattles under our combined weight. I doubt it would collapse, but the noise is really something. Not that Shizune notices. Her pace only grows faster until it feels as though she might shove me across the table with how forceful she's being. Without warning, her movements come to a final crescendo. Suddenly she stops, almost falling onto me with enough speed that if she didn't catch herself, it probably would have knocked us unconscious. The worst situation possible if someone had happened to walk in while we were knocked out. I'm surprised, but not enough to forget that we're both naked and the sudden painful interruption that just happened. Why did this have to happen? Was it intentional, to leave me stewing in my own lust? Shizune lets out her breath sheepishly, realizing it at the same time as I do. Whew. Sorry, I tripped or slipped or something like that. I had a thought. Is the door unlocked? She quickly gets off the table and bolts over to check, locks it, unlocks it, and locks it again, pulling on the knob just to make sure. When she's finally sure, she makes an out-of-place motion with her hands. Safe! She's apparently a fan of American baseball. I'm glad you could take things so lightly. I didn't do it on purpose. Why don't you take the lead then? Come on. I grab Shizune by the shoulders and try to put her onto the table instead. Her brow scrunches in displeasure as the edge of the table pokes her in the back, just as it did to me. She opts to help herself up onto it. Oh dear. These two are really getting down. This is also the first time I've seen Shizune lying down unclothed. The contours of her collarbone and breasts are beautiful, and my eyes follow them to her shapely hips. A delicate hourglass figure. I run my hands along the curve of her body from her shoulders on down. Slowly I insert myself into Shizune up to the hilt. An intense warmth and tightness immediately surround me, and I start pistoning into her to pick up where we left off before. Her body feels so hot against my skin. Each time our hips meet with each thrust, where we're holding each other, I feel like I'll be scalded by her body heat. On top of that, I feel more sensitive now than before, and find myself pushing into Shizune harder to make up for it. My hand glides around the curve of her thigh, and I carefully tease her with my hand as well, almost losing my balance when she reacts strongly, snapping upwards and back into my groin and nearly pushing us both to the floor. Moving my hands up, I grab her prominent breasts and fondle them as I've always wanted to. They feel even larger than they appear and overflow my hands, soft and perfectly shaped. She squirms under me as I flick my fingers over her nipples, and twists her arms around mine, instead gripping my fingers and drawing me closer. It feels like I'm wrestling her. The lock is inescapable. From the first time our hands met, I guess we were connected. Whether it's through her pulling me from one student council event to another, or holding hands as lovers, I think it's been the same, the confidence that comes across in the way she grasps my hand. Her hands writhe across the surface of the table, and grabbing onto it, she hooks her legs around my back, pressing us closer together, connecting us even more closely and entrapping me inside of her. Her inner walls are so hot and tight, and with her pushing up against me, the friction only increases, sending me over the top. All too soon, the feeling ends. All I can do afterward is stay inside of her with my hands holding the table, both for lack of energy, because her legs are still locking me in. For Shizune's part, she smiles almost dreamily. The sight makes me smile as well. Her legs slowly fall, allowing me to extract myself. Exhausted, I lean back against my desk and try to regain my breath before putting my clothes back on. I notice a dull, hot throbbing in my chest as I button my shirt back up. It puts a bad aftertaste on everything that just happened. It was a lucky break that Misha couldn't be here, wasn't it? You're in an unusually joking mood today. I wonder what she had to do. Shizune traces the air lazily with a finger and points to the door. Go see for yourself. Why don't you just tell me? It's more interesting if you see for yourself. Seeing is believing. Sure, clever. Maybe I will. What about you? Are you going to stay here all day? It's getting late. It feels like my last day as the student council president, so maybe I'll sleep here tonight. It could be the last chance I have to sleep at my desk, like after a long day, try to meet a deadline. That's weird. I'll sleep in my bed. Sleeping sitting up is a skill, a very useful one. Right. For a moment after I leave the room, I actually do consider seeing what Misha's up to, just because Shizune made it sound so secretive, as if she were building a time machine or something, but in the end I decide not to. The night air is pleasant at this time of year, it's refreshing and a little humid. but not so chilly as to make it uncomfortable to stay outside for a while. It's late enough for the courtyard to be all but deserted, too. After Shizune and I said our farewells to each other, I'd set out to return to my dormitory room. I didn't even make it all the way there, though, before getting distracted. It doesn't seem like a bad idea to go see what Misha's up to. I have nothing better to do. No homework. I'm out of anything worth reading. On top of that, I simply want to know. This isn't my first time being in the main building after hours, but usually it says I'm leaving the place with Shizune and Misha after a long day at the student council, not entering it alone. The atmosphere is quiet, a word I would not normally use to describe these halls. It's a little creepy. A light starts flickering up ahead. This seems like a horror movie moment waiting to happen. Feeling a hand on my shoulder, I stiffen reflexively. It's not Misha, or else there'd be a hand clapped over my eyes and a sing-song Guess Who accompanying them. So who is it? Hope it's not Kenji, or at least it's someone I know. Or this will take a turn for the weird. Whoever it is quickly slips in front of me. Of course, it's Shizune. What are you doing here? I'm so relieved I forget to sign it. Shizune puts a finger up to her lips. I'm guessing that even though she can't hear, she has some idea what loudness is, and can tell from my expression that I was being loud. Apparently being loud isn't a good thing right now. But then why is Misha her interpreter? Very funny. Why are you here? I was waiting for you to come see. I knew you'd show up. Took you a while, though. You've been waiting here? Yes, but that isn't important. We have to be stealthy if we don't want Misha to detect us. Tell me if you're not being stealthy enough, okay? With that, Shizune slowly starts tiptoeing through the middle of the hall. I pat her on the shoulder to get her attention. That's not stealthy. Why do we have to be stealthy? She refuses to answer, probably because signing and walking stealthily at the same time doesn't look easy. Before I know it, we're in front of our homeroom. Suddenly, a loud snap like the crack of a whip pierces the air, followed by a familiar expression of frustration. I'm sure a sound like that isn't good for my heart. Not to mention everything sounds about 1,000,000 times louder with how quiet it is. It's coming from inside the room, and I sidle up to Shizune to get a look inside. Can you stop throwing your pencil, please? How do you even throw a pencil that loudly? She looks very flustered. What an understatement. I sympathize with Muto. I was able to hear Misha's pen break the sound barrier even through a wall and a thick classroom door. It probably blew out his eardrums and left an imprint on the wall. Oh, Isao. I'm not throwing it. When I get nervous, I'd like to spin it around, but then I forget I'm holding on to it, and it doesn't matter. Either way, there shouldn't be pencils flying around. I get enough of that during regular school hours. I don't need it after hours. We're right. Sorry. Whatever. Just stop throwing or releasing or dropping things, please. Teachers have work, too. I notice Shizune watching the same thing I am. Muto's yelling at the top of his lungs, and Misha's being Misha. I can hear them reasonably well through the door, but Shizune obviously can't hear anything at all. So I wonder what watching this is like for her. She must know, since she understands well enough to want me to see it too, but I have to wonder if she ever feels like she's missing out on something, having to work that much harder to understand what she's observing. It looks like she's taking supplementary lessons. Is she? Yeah. I answer, despite knowing the question is completely rhetorical. Misha told me she really wants to be a sign language teacher in the future. If she can get a recommendation, she can study overseas for it. That's why she's working so hard. Her grades are always kind of on the low side. Now I feel guilty. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to do yet. Neither have I. In a cheerful way that she signs it is very unlike her and very obviously false. Let's get out of here. We don't want to be seen. It'd be a problem if we were caught standing out here like idiots. Where? Student council room? Shaking her head, she slips into the classroom across the hall instead. Great hiding place. You're unusually sarcastic lately. With the door closed, it's a good one. Anyway, wasn't it interesting? Yes, but I'm not really surprised. I close the door behind us, prompting Shizune to laugh soundlessly as she slides into a chair. For a second, it depresses me. I want to hear her real laugh. I've been looking down on Misha. I didn't think she had a goal at all. But it turns out I was wrong. I made a careless assumption. I thought Misha was as aimless as I was. I was stupid. I lost. Shizune pauses to crack her knuckles like firecrackers, and then folds her hands over each other and leans forward in her chair. In the abnormal quiet of the building, I can hear Muto yelling at Misha again, even across the hallway through 2 doors. Shizune's eyes are locked on mine, unblinking behind the gleaming lenses of her glasses, observing my reaction to her words. This is a test. Her opinion of people is rarely formed from how they respond to questions. It's how they respond to statements that counts. In hindsight, it makes sense. Shizune's inability to speak, as well as just her personality in general, means that everything she says is a big commitment on her part. Everything. For that reason, I sometimes doubt she says anything without a hidden agenda behind it. It sounds remarkably paranoid. Even Kenji thinks so. Unfortunately, I'm so caught up in thinking about it that I forget to give her an answer. She takes it as there not being one. There was an invisible time limit to this test, shorter than usual. Just as I thought. What do you mean? You don't agree? Not really, it's not that. I don't get it. I want to force my will on people. How refreshingly honest. Give me a weird look like that. It's not like that was always my intention. At first I was just bored. I wanted to see someone's passion for something. Then I could try and beat them. I wanted to test their ability or their convictions. But it was impossible. No one has any passion for anything in this school. They just want to keep to themselves. Can't believe it. It's too boring that way. I thought that there was no way these drab people could be for real. It goes beyond not wanting to make waves. They had to have some kind of interest. They had to be hiding something. I wanted to expose it, reveal it, drag it out. One of the most successful ways to get people to open up to you and cheer them up is to open up with a story about yourself, and then you ease them into telling you about themselves. It's like give and take, but with an element of manipulation, which makes it interesting. I can't do that. If I attempt to have Misha talk about me for me, it makes me seem arrogant. The message has to go through a messenger. I'm standing next to Misha, telling her to tell someone about me. You don't have to be able to read sign language to see that. If I were forced to sit through that, I would think I was arrogant too. I was frustrated. I couldn't figure out a way to have a conversation with anyone but Misha. No one would open up to me. I came to the conclusion that I can't make people confide in me or believe in me. I can only hope to create things and show them to people and hope they make them happy. Or I could be more forceful and hope it would eventually stick to someone. I guess that'd be me. Feels vaguely depressing. Somewhere along the line, I think I started to ignore Misha or see her as less of a person or something like that. I took her for granted. I think that'd be the best way to put it. It was like she was just an extension of myself. I forgot that the whole time Misha was there, opening up to me and giving 100% every day. I missed what I was looking for because it was in plain sight. How stupid of me. I really did become arrogant. That's why I've lost. I'm more short-sighted than I was back then. I went in reverse. She's pacing back and forth now, almost brooding, yet still filled with so much energy that she can't stand to stop moving. If you got her to hold 2 wires, I'm sure Shizune could power a light bulb. It's odd that I could have such a lighthearted thought while she's being so serious. And in spite of that, Misha tells me I'm her inspiration. Isn't that ridiculous? I'm not the kind of person who can inspire others. Even if a person who inspires you is flawed, it can be acceptable. I've thought about this. There is even acceptable hypocrisy. For instance, if your hero was an athlete but unsportsmanlike, they could still be respected for their athletic ability, even if they had shortcomings as a person. Boy, doesn't that seem like relevant these days. However, she snaps her fingers briskly. It sounds like a thunderclap in the empty room, and Shizune takes a few seconds to stretch her fingers. Come to think of it, this is the most she's ever signed. If someone like me has no goals, it would totally be unacceptable. It'd be the worst kind of hypocrisy, and hypocrites don't deserve responsibility over anything. They can't even manage themselves. How incredibly pessimistic. It makes me angry to think about it. I would hate myself just a few months ago. This must be how I look to others. And funny enough, it was Shizune and Misha who convinced me to stop. Without them, I'm sure things would be much different, and not for the better. Boy, we'll find out about that later. Lately, I feel as though we pass around our miseries as much as we're supported by each other. But I think it just comes with the territory of having friends and being close to someone. You're the leader anyway. That's only because no one else wants to be. But that means you still are, since people are putting their trust in you anyway. In fact, doesn't that make it more important? Either way, you're the leader. You're the inspirational figure, or whatever you want to call it. You're responsible for what you tame. I read that in a book somewhere. That's clever. Shizune only seems to show what she's feeling on her face when she wants to, but I don't think she's being sarcastic. I don't want to tame anyone, though. Being the leader and being looked up to, then, same thing. I never wanted to be the leader, it just ends up that way. I don't believe that. All you do is try to grab more and more responsibility. Wait, I wasn't going to tell you that I don't enjoy it. I don't care about being the leader, but I don't mind. I don't care about being the best, but I don't mind. You're right, though, about me wanting responsibility. Of course I want more responsibility. Having responsibility makes me feel alive. That's why I joined the student council. If there's no pressure, I just can't stand it. Even so, now I'm the leader. I always thought that being the leader meant you give orders, but it really is more. It's about having a goal. If you don't have a goal, then it's pointless. People would only be following me for my own enjoyment. It'd be selfish. It's a strangely moral viewpoint for a person who seems to love one-upping others so much. Resting her chin on her tented fingers, Shizune looks disarmingly childish as she thinks hard about her problem. The expression on her face is a little comical, because it's too obvious and therefore very unlike her. It comes with a job. I think you'd have to be a leader. You wouldn't be satisfied with anything else, you'd just get bored. Shizune doesn't reply, but from her annoyed expression I think I've guessed correctly. I've been thinking that I need a little direction too. Were you told that it's important to contribute to society? What an unusual response. It's so out of nowhere that I don't know how to respond. It also bothers me, although I don't know why. Possibly because it doesn't seem like something that would come from her. So I start to think that isn't Shizune's thought at all. I wonder who told her that. That's probably her dad. But there is a chance that she came up with it on her own. If so, would it be because she can't hear? Why do you say that? Just because. I don't believe it. I guess that's right, though. I see. I don't know if it's the same for me. I hate it. I think everyone wants a purpose. Looking back, it makes sense that Shizune doesn't have one. All that energy would otherwise have been directed at something. Since she had nothing to channel it towards, Shizune lashed out in all directions. Reminds me of a downed power line flailing in a storm. Furious and incandescent, but aimless and dangerous. Just like Shizune. I want to say that this is why she feels the need to turn everything into a competition, but that's probably just how she is. Having a goal to put that energy towards is just the next level. How about this? I could go into business. My family's well connected, so it shouldn't be too hard. That comes off a little unethical and nepotistic, doesn't it? A little. I won't coast, though. I'll work hard until I'm at the very apex. When I have as much money as possible, so much that it'll be like I won't know what to do with it, I'll move on to the next step. After sitting on it for a while, of course, like a fairy tale dragon. You want to be a philanthropist. ... motherfucking ... What were you thinking? That I want to be a miser? Well, it's true. It's part of the plan. Don't sell me short and stop there, though. Shizune still looks uneasy. Of course, even if she did seem to resolve her problem quickly, no one can get over their anxieties that fast. No one can solve their problems that easily. The important thing is, it looks as though she has her heart set on trying. It's still hard to tell whether that drive of hers comes from a good or a bad place, though. But she has something to hold on to now. I can genuinely believe that she does. I'm happy for her. And at the same time, I feel a little cold. I'm the one who's behind. Now I'm the only one without a goal. Let me see here, folks. This might be the end. Oh dear. Yeah, I think we're going to make this one a long one, folks. Let me just see how far we can get. There haven't been any further disruptions since that week. Of course, that's what I thought the week before that, and Shizune and Misha's sudden newfound clarity had left me feeling a little lost and envious. I thought there was no way I could rest easy at the time. But fortunately, nothing came of it, my worries. And before I knew it, there was enough to deal with in school that I even managed to put them off my mind. And still, everything was fine. I was wrong. I'd seen Shizune and Misha's carefully hidden vulnerabilities, but they were still strong. Now we're going to be graduating soon. I've grown so comfortable here that it kind of crept up on me. When it did, I felt sad and didn't want to think about it. So I didn't. Not up until recently. About a week ago, I started making a list of people I thought I should say goodbye to before graduation. The first rule I laid out for myself was that I would try not to write them down in any kind of special order, like least important to most important. Somehow it ended up like that anyway, even though the list ended up being shorter than I expected it to be. Kenji's somewhere in the middle. They said I'd have to graduate eventually. Well, I showed them. I've lived here rent-free for more than long enough. If you take into account the rising cost of land, I think you could say I've won in the end. No, you know what? I did win. History will acknowledge me as the victor. Victor of what? I managed to stay out of sight and slip through the cracks. I beat the system. If you put it that way, it sounds like you just ran away from the system. Sometimes running is the greatest form of victory, like in the Olympics. I'm too tired to argue with him. Who's he kidding? Everyone knows the shot put is the best Olympic event in any case. Shot put. So what you're basically saying is you won't miss it. Guess what? School, dummy. No, I told you, this place is too filled with feminists. It's beyond saving. But at least I'll be able to get out before it reaches critical mass. I'll only come back years later when they build a statue to honor me. Did they do the 10 thing later reunion here? 10-year later reunion thing here? How would I know that? Probably. Anyway, I have to start packing now. Take care of yourself, man. You should have packed a week ago like I did. Not that I had much to pack. That's not how it goes. You're supposed to do everything at the last minute. Men are better at doing everything at the last minute. The last minute can have more productivity than like the entire week before it. That's how we keep shit fair. You'll never understand our manly ways. You take care of yourself, too. With a salute, he shoots backwards through the door, slamming the shit behind him hard enough that the entire dorm probably heard it. I've noticed that a lot of people slam doors here. Maybe it's a local thing. Take care of myself. It's the first time I've heard him say it. Usually he ends our conversations with something like, see ya, I'll pay you back later, man. Well, he was a little annoying at sometimes, but I'll miss him. I cross him off my list mentally. The list is very short now, and once again I discard the notion of going through it in any kind of order. Like I said, I never had that intention. So I go out and look for Shizune and Misha. I can only think of one place they'd be. Student council room, of course. Turning the corner, I almost bump into a small group of students. For a second, a bitter feeling flashes through me, since for all I know, that could have been fatal. It's the new student council. There aren't a lot of them, but they're more than 3. Which is good, since it means there are enough of them that can each have their own title. It would have been cool if I had a little desk plaque with my name and title on it. I don't think they do that now, or ever did, unfortunately. The new student council surrounds me while I'm thinking. If anyone were looking at this from afar, it would be a pretty sinister sight. Maybe they've come to finally get back at me for calling him the new student council all those times. I was just translating for Shizune, but I guess I should have been less lazy, more tactful. I regret nothing. I find myself being thanked for everything I've done. I'm being thanked. It should make me happy, considering how often I would think to myself that being in the student council was a completely thankless job. It does make me happy, but I can't enjoy it fully. I wonder how things would have turned out if our student council had grown as large as the one that's sent to replace us. Even though they've only got 2 or 3 other members, it's enough that they have set roles. Not like us, where Shizune seemed to be president, but that was it. The new council thanking me gives me a strange feeling. It's like coming back home and seeing that the tree you nurtured years before has grown. But I feel like I didn't nurture that tree enough and wonder what more I could have done. It would likely have made Shizune furious that I would feel distant from what I did in the student council this way, or that I implied I didn't do enough, but it's true. I was only following her. So in a way, I also feel like I'm viewing that same tree from far away, as if I'm seeing it from a window of the train as it passes by. I indulge in these thoughts for too long. When I snap out of it, I realize I'm still standing there surrounded by the new student council. I do the only thing I can do and apologize for zoning out, and then I thank them back. When they walk away, I enter the student council room, which looks a lot messier, but seems to have gained a computer. It makes sense. I recall hearing one of the clipboard girls talking about her plans to use a computer to make all the boring data entries Shizune does more tolerable. I can't remember which one said it, though. Aoi seems to be the more ambitious one, but then again, Keiko appears to be more serious. Well, it doesn't matter now. I'm not alone in the room, but instead of finding Shizune here like I'd expected, it's just Misha. She's sitting on Shizune's desk like Shizune herself often does, swinging her legs back and forth. When our eyes meet, she hops off and inexplicably poses like a superhero. Hi, Hee-chan! I'm surprised to see you here. What are you doing? You first. I was looking for Shizune. Me too. I thought she'd be here, but I got Hee-chan instead. Gee, thanks. Oh, this is good. Really, really. I wanted to talk to you anyway. About what? I take the time to glance around the room a little more. I see a hot plate. They're really living high. I wanted to say sorry, of course, for all the trouble I made for you and Shi-chan. Don't call it trouble. Right. Don't apologize to Shizune. Right. But that isn't why I'm here, Hee-chan. I wouldn't apologize to Shi-chan. Since you're here, I want to ask you a question. Hee-chan, what do you think it would take for Shi-chan to be happy? World domination, obviously. Wah! Even though you're joking, Hee-chan. No, even if she could, it wouldn't make Shi-chan happy. Only for a little while. Hee-chan, have you ever heard of artists who tear up their paintings as soon as they finish them? Such people really exist in the world, you know? I remembered it all of a sudden. It's just like Shi-chan now that I think about it. Whenever Shi-chan sets up a challenge for herself and completes it, she acts like her skills have no meaning anymore. I wonder, is it because she can't create anything permanent? It's just like those artists, how they want to create a piece of art to leave behind, a really great one, but can't do it. It's really obvious when I look back at it, but I didn't see it before. Now I'm scared. I wonder if Shi-chan will ever be happy. No, I don't think so. Not about her being happy. I think you're wrong. Shizune's actually happy more often than I thought. I think it's actually kind of amazing. Usually people don't think about that kind of stuff until they're middle-aged or dying. Then they think, I want to leave something behind, or I want to be remembered. Like me. Only I skipped ahead a little. My life was short and seemed even shorter after my heart attack. I didn't think about what I was leaving behind because I very quickly thought there was almost nothing I was leaving behind. So all that was left was for me to stew in my own bitterness. Shizune already wants to leave her mark somewhere, but she wants to do it by helping people. That's why celebrations are so important to her. She even wants to be a philanthropist. I think it's the best way to live, living on by what you give to others. Even if it's for a selfish reason, that's okay too. Shizune is already happy, because if something goes well, there will always be someone else to see it and remember it. That's what makes her happy. Misha sighs, arms stiff at her sides, hands tapping at the air softly. Before, I still thought, I might be able to make Shizune happy. And I was in a good place to do it before. Since I was her interpreter, I could always be with her. Maybe. And I thought I would do it by becoming like Shi-chan's shadow. I kept trying even when she rejected me. It felt like I was stuck and I couldn't do anything but watch Shi-chan's back getting smaller and smaller while she kept going. I was scared, even though I should have just accepted it. It's hard. Maybe I could have at least understood Shi-chan. But it looks like I was completely wrong after all. I didn't even know that or think about it. Shi-chan would call it a complete loss. Okay, I'm done. That's it, Hee-chan. But, since you're the one who knows Shi-chan best of all, you can't make her cry, or I'll be angry. I'm gonna go overseas after this. I even have letters of recommendation, or I don't think I would be able to normally. Maybe I'll study and become a sign language teacher over there? Who knows? That means you have to look after Shi-chan, okay? Misha's smile is as honest as ever, but she's obviously changed. The look in her eyes is that of a much more attentive girl. It seems to be true that hardship builds wisdom. It reminds me of the look in Shizune's eyes. I wonder what Shizune might have been through in order to become who she is. I can take a guess. Or maybe she was always like that. I want to see her even more. It's just to Misha that we should look for her together. Of course, it's just a pretext to spend more time with a friend. It's strange how it hasn't been long since we last hung out together, the three of us, in the span of a routine student council day. Yet, it seems like it was so long ago. Thinking about the future can put a kind of lens over the past. Speaking of lenses... Outside, Yuko's standing around fiddling with a tiny, modern-looking camera in her hands. It'd be unnoticeable if it weren't metallic enough to reflect the sunlight. Misha calls out to her. I thought we were supposed to be looking for Shizune. Hi! What are you doing? I'm just taking photos of everyone. That's obvious. Awkward. Misha, I'll never forget how you taught me that someone can hold so many secrets and still have a massive lack of tact. Where's my photo? You want a copy? I don't know. Well, only if you promise to keep it a secret, or everyone else will want one too. That happened to me back in elementary school, only it was with candy. Okay, I'll take a photo of you now then. Ah, wait, I'm not ready. I was just kidding. Hee-chan, make a peace sign. I'm not gonna do that. Blah! The camera flash goes off, blinding me. Yuko shields herself behind it, letting out a moan of frustration. You're not supposed to turn the flash on outdoors. She starts apologizing unnecessarily and then quietly slips away. Ah, wait. Yes? Did you see Shi-chan around here? Yes, in front of the gate. Thanks. I can barely get it out before I have to start following behind Misha. Fortunately, not for very long. The gate's barely a minute's walk from here, even though even that can be tiring for me sometimes. We see Shizune with the student council. They're probably thanking her, too. As soon as she sees us, she shoos them away, which is very easy since I doubt any of them can understand sign language or use it, so they're not too sad about leaving. Which in turn makes me wonder why they would thank her without someone who can, but it's the thought that counts. Misha immediately hugs Shizune and then leans against the gate, next to her. I, on the other hand, decide to hang back a little and let them talk. After all, Misha wanted to talk to Shizune this whole time. I can wait. I even turn away so I don't eavesdrop on their conversation. I end up losing track of the time. When I look at my watch, it's already been 10 minutes. I wonder if they're done and turn around and find them behind me. What are you thinking about? Boring philosophical things I don't want to talk about. Don't worry, I'm not thinking about it too hard. Good. Getting philosophical at a time like this would be the worst thing you could do. Yeah, I just want to stand here for a bit. It's relaxing. It was a busy week. Not really. Not for me. I know that they must have been busy, but I think I know what I want to do now, and when it hit me, I didn't feel particularly fired up or anxious. It's the opposite. I feel at peace for the first time in a long time, and I want to savor that feeling a little bit more. I think that I want to teach here. As soon as I thought this, a long, winding road appeared in my mind. An uncertain road that leads back here. I wonder if I'll be able to meet someone in the future like me. Someone filled with bitterness. I want to talk to that person, since I can't talk to myself. I want to tell them that life is too short. Something that couldn't be told to me, only shown. I want to do it without pity. If I'd been pitied, I'm sure that I only would have died a little more. When I think about that first week, I still think about how well it went. So well that it could only be called the result of kindness. I want to show others that same kind of kindness. I also want to keep chasing Shizune. What did the new student council want, Shi-chan? It's hard to daydream when you have to deal with Misha's voice. I didn't know they had someone who knew sign language. They don't. I think it was most likely just a goodbye, so I appreciate it, even though I couldn't tell them. How did you know I was here? Is it supposed to be a secret? Anyway, we just asked Yuko. Did she take a photo of you too? Yes, without asking me first. Since Yuko doing anything spur of the moment is rare, though, I'll let it go. She snaps her fingers, more because I think she likes it than out of realization of an idea. We should take a photo of the three of us. We haven't taken a student council photo yet, now's the perfect chance. But if I have to look at this picture a year from now, I don't want us staring back at me. What does that mean, Shi-chan? Pictures are supposed to capture the moment, isn't that right? Without a doubt. They're not portraits, just standing around and being so stiff. It wouldn't even capture how I feel. I feel like we'll meet again. So, this isn't an occasion to take such a serious photo. It should be a see you later type of photo. Not a big deal. It should be something more festive. Oh boy. Like this, follow me. Shizune poses like a musketeer so quickly I'm sure that even she knows it's silly. Do we really have to do such a cheesy pose? I can think of no better pose. Misha, go find Yuko. I don't like this pose either, but I think it's kind of nice. I don't think it makes sense. She's already gone and returns dragging Yuko behind her. The flash is off. A red LED blinks 3 times above it after Yuko's finger presses the button. Shizune glances at both of us to make sure we have the timing down. Synchronized watches. We jump. I bet that turned out excellently. You guys aren't even off the ground! Okay. Now let's get one with Yuko, too. No, please. That's not necessary. I want a copy of this photo, too. I'll likely die younger than the average person. My life could unexpectedly burn out at any time. I don't have any time to waste, then. I want to live as much as possible. I also want to see other people smile from what I've made and done. Living vicariously through the happiness of others doesn't seem so bad. Feeling joy through another person's happiness doesn't seem like such a bad thing. It's the easiest way I can think of to draw out my own life and give it distinction. Maybe this is the meaning that Shizune's found for herself, although it's just my theory. People find themselves alone often in their lives and without direction. However, people can take refuge in moments of happiness. They can dot a person's life like stops on a train map, or waypoints of memory on a long trail. These individual moments on reflection can give a person's life fulfillment. Every friend and festival and joyful meeting, a joyful parting. I want to be able to ask Shizune one day if I'm right. I want to spend the time I have with her. Finally, I want to make Shizune smile for herself. I love you. I pause, wondering if she'll look at me confused and ask why I'd say it out of the blue. She doesn't. Did they do that reunion thing here? Of course they do. The student council member should know that. Sooner than that, though, okay? Both of you. Right. Yeah. Yuko, you do the pose too. Afterwards we can go for tea. Shizune laughs, as if she doesn't have a care in the world. Misha's laughter joining with hers as easily as if it were her own. We'll meet again. And that's it, folks. That was Shizune's part. Oh boy. So, topics. This is my least favorite path of all the paths in Katawa Shoujo. I chose to do it first because I also believe, in my honest opinion, that it's the canon path. Here are my arguments to that point. It's the only path that goes all the way to graduation, which is an important event. It's also the path where Hisao does the most growing up, the most changing. It's a more complete character arc, and probably written the most like an actual story of any of the paths that we'll see. Thirdly, this is the path where Hisao himself basically gives a to be continued, which is kind of how life is supposed to end. You know, a series of events leads to one particular point, and then spirals off into the future completely unknown. Just like this LP, because we're not done yet, folks. Oh no. Shizune's path might be over, but I'm not done yet. Copyright 2012, 4 Leaf Studios. Thank you, 4 Leaf, you guys did a wonderful job. Okay, like I said, this LP ain't done yet, folks. Shizune's path might be over, and I'm probably going to take a break and do like a little side LP between Shizune's path and my next path, which will be Rin's path. Whew. Well, this episode's going on an hour now. Sorry in future, TK, whenever you have to edit this. But, yeah, that's all. That's going to be it. I can't believe it. I got through one. One down, 2 to go. Okay, now here's a little bit of heads up. I'm going to be fast-forwarding through the beginning of Rin's path, basically only stopping at points where something different happens. And the different points are going to be, well, different. Oh boy. So, I guess that's it, folks. Part 21, the final part. I'm kind of sad to say I'm going to miss it. But, not for long. I've got Rin's path to do, and Rin's path is definitely interesting, so stick around, folks. It's going to be nice. It's going to be fun. For Let's Play Katawa Shoujo Shizune's Path, I am your host, Neo Mega Man. We'll meet again.